waking up one morning and like Whitechapel were in the living room.
Why were they there?
Because it was like their first Australian tour, I think, and they couldn't check into their hotel till 2 o'clock or something. And
So who's put them up?
Brad from Soundworks was like, "Oi, Geeks, can we come like sit in your living room for a few hours?"
Fuck, I do not remember that at all. See, that's just no idea. Yeah, because I remember that was that.
I remember
show.
having a big conversation with Phil Bozeman about how fucking sick Iron Dissonance was before I fucking smoked a bong and left for my call center job that day.
Hey, look at me now.
Hey, how you going? My name is Lachlan Watt, and music is my life. This week's episode is the second of 4 episodes recorded during my time in the Northern Territory for Blacken Open Air last month. If you'd like, you can go back a week to hear my chat with Karina Utomo of Killat. And if you get to the end of this episode and end up excited to hear one with Jason Fuller of Blood Duster, which was supposedly minutes away from happening at the end of this episode, you can rest easy in that he stood me up and that we never got it done. Thanks for absolutely nothing, Fuller. But anyway, this week's episode is with James Geekie, drummer of Melbourne's sludge metal band ISUA. They are incredibly sick and sound like this. In addition to being one of the hardest hitting drummers I've ever seen, Geeks is a very good friend of mine from back when I lived in Brisbane. And even though he's only 4 years older than me, Geeks was very much a heavy metal father figure to me when I was working life out in my early 20s. We shared several houses, rehearsal rooms, and tour vans, and he is in fact directly responsible for me becoming a promoter. No shit, I never had any intention of taking up the line of work that now pays my bills, until Geeks asked me if I wanted to join a team of bookers to get a new live music venue off the ground. That would become Rosie's. This was almost 20 years ago, and it's all just happened from there. While we definitely get into the subject of ISUA, we spend far more time on this podcast reminiscing about the good old days and just sharing funny stories, having a laugh. And it is kind of funny to me that I lugged my podcast gear all the way to a festival in the remote outback with bands from all over the world to end up recording podcasts with 2 great friends of mine who both live in the same city as me. But they're both extremely significant figures in my life, so I guess it makes sense. Still to come from my Blacken 2025 series of podcasts is ISUA from American psych rockers Earthless and Pirate, the man behind the entire event. Until then, my name is Lachlan Watt, music is my life, and now I give you my conversation with Geeks. Cheers. How has your first Blacken experience been so far, Geeks?
Absolutely, like mind-boggling, taking it all in terms of just the difference of everything. But then, at the same time, the indomitable spirit of like just metalheads coming together is just always the same everywhere you go.
Yeah,
and that's just such a beautiful feeling. But then this just makes it more special.
I think it's the most DIY metal scene I've ever come across.
Well, it has to be, I guess, out here. It's not like you run down the road and find 3 other pubs that have a spare mic lead or a bit of change for the thing or a spare keg, as it might be. So yeah, DIY very much. But then the production level of, especially at night, like when the bands really get going up there with all that production, like doesn't fit, nothing DIY about that.
Yeah,
like
it's
how it looks and sounds.
I think a ton of the attention went into the production.
Yeah, no, I mean they did make a point of like pushing that from their socials in the week before coming up. Like this is the biggest we've done, and I mean I don't know, but it feels like the best without ever going to the other ones. It fucking looks great.
It's definitely a huge step up from like I haven't been since it moved out to here. Like I missed the first 2 at this site, but the first one was basically just out the back of a pub in Alice Springs.
Really?
so it was totally different.
I mean, that's the humble beginnings of these sort of things. Best way to start. Gives a really good origin story.
Yeah, it's a nice segue. You are, I guess, responsible for my origin story as a promoter.
Yeah,
You want to tell us your recollection of that?
It's people in the different cities around Australia will have a different sort of relationship to this story. Like people from Melbourne and Sydney might not get it as much, but people from like your Adelaides, your Perths, and your Tassies, the smaller places might understand that when Lachlan and I were young bucks coming up, we lost our only venue that was putting on heavy music. Like it was the Basement, and down in the Queen Street Mall there, and me and another guy called Scott Moss from Minus Life. He was a promoter up there at the time. I just came to him as full of vinegar and excitement, and said to him, "Fucking, why don't we just go around and talk to pubs and say you've got a niche crowd here, like you will absolutely own the market, at the moment, and we'll bring 100 people every night that don't cause trouble, that sink absolute insane levels of piss," and so we did that. We went around with no venues left for like tours to play anywhere. Like unless you were like a 500, 800 cap, sort of band, you had nothing.
Yeah, like there was the arena and nothing else.
Yeah, and that's it. Well, it's at 500 plus, even more.
I think it was maybe closer to 1,000.
Yeah.
I can't remember specifically though.
Yeah, we were younger, so everything looked bigger.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, we walked around and we eventually found a club that was known. It had dance clubs that would be up till 3 a.m, but they only ever had 30, 40 people in it. They had a 400 cap room. Scott and I got this venue to agree. Yep, we'll build a stage, start booking. And then we realised that, fuck, all right, we've got a venue. We've now got, but basically we know one genre, like metal, just straight up metal. We need to expand to find people to help fill the nights. And we already knew you from putting on some shows with Western Decay, and I can't even really remember. You might already probably doing DIYs and booking a little bit.
I don't think I was really booking like officially. I think I'd helped pull some lineups together for like basement shows with Western Decay, being like, "Hey, you want to play with us? We've got a night." That was about the extent of it. I'd never even really considered, hey, this is something I could do as a job.
And I don't remember I just had we'd obviously met and whatever, but I think we always had. I think with our origin story, like we've been feeling each other out in terms of like, to me, you were the scene kid and I was the brutal elitist metal.
I remember the first time we met, we were walking from a gig at the Basement to the Valley.
Yes.
And you were like wearing a Dying Fetus shirt, fucking, I think, whinging about scene kids and deathcore or something.
Yeah.
And,
they're not even real death metal.
Yeah.
Just gatekeeping, like a true staunch cunt.
Had one of those conversations.
Yeah, he's like, write this guy off. And I'm like, who's this little kid? But I remember like when we were talking back there, and we need serious people who want to take this seriously, because we were like, let's not fuck this up. We got nowhere else, and this owner of this club's giving us a crack. And just remember you being so passionate about everything, as passionate as we were about our little elitist scene, and it just made sense. So we brought you in. I remember we had this really like sort of, I don't know, breaking the ground kind of meeting. The back of the house I was living in, we had all the different sort of promoters and sound people and people who'd be involved in a venue, bookers, promoters, whatever it might be. And we're just like, right, this is how we're lining it out. Like Wednesday night is like your welcome to the scene kind of night, like free shows, 3 bands. The bar will pay us, to pay the band something. Thursday night was your night. Like, all right, bring in the punk, the hardcore kids. Like these kids we don't understand, but whatever. There's a lot of them. And then Friday night and Saturday night were like bigger bands coming up, and we always tried to have at least one interstate band, so we could spread the knowledge of local metal, amongst our people. So that was that's basically, I guess, the way I remember it starting was just like we need. It's togetherness in alternative scene. That's the better way to sort of think of it, is this alternative scene. Like that's the way I just remember it all coming together.
I remember you always used to get indignant about it and say there's no such thing as a metal scene. Like it's not a scene.
Yeah, it very much is, but it's a scene, within a a genre, within a subgenre of a niche. Like it's, and that's what
you just hated that word.
Yeah.
I think you just associated it with like, emos.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the fringe kids would say, and I even remember being like offended that, like, back in the day, you're only allowed to have tats if you're a criminal, And then you're only allowed to have tats if you're in a hardcore band, but you had to be a hardcore band that had done something, earned your stripes, so to speak, and then everybody had it. And I remember like just looking at the kids like, they don't even understand.
You haven't earned those
you haven't
sleeve
earned
tats
those
that you just
sleeve
put
tats.
on your credit card.
How ridiculous. I like to think that. Yeah, it's just like, you do what you want. You look beautiful. Like, but it's just like, I remember like, because like I'd see I'm going to forget the bands, like the early hardcore bands from Brisbane, Secret Death and things like that. Like people who like earned their like tats if they had them, like, so I just put my metal elitist across to another scene and I don't know, it's just all. But in the end, at the same time, I'd have those elitist kind of silly thoughts and gatekeeping thoughts, but I ultimately always knew, it's all of us in this together, and even like coming together and finding that venue, if we didn't find that, we would have kept going in a fucking townhouse every Thursday night if we had to, like get a council fucking joint, bring in our own PA, like metal's like cockroaches in a nuclear war. We will find a way. And
and we did have to bring in, like Ian brought in a PA for it, right? Like the whole stage got built from the ground up. I remember coming down to check it out a couple of times, and it was like the venue was being gutted and repurposed. Yeah,
we literally, I think they said to us on early November of whatever year it was, they're like, early November, all right, cool, we want you to open in January.
And this is Rosie's in case
Live.
we didn't mention it.
We didn't. Yeah, Rosie's Live back in the Monstrothic Thriller Snitch days for everyone. Club Phoenix originally.
Yeah.
But they said, the owner was like, I can't. And at the time I thought, this is harsh. And now I get it, like with venue costs. The guy was like, guys, I need like people in here within 4 to 6 weeks. And this is like November. So you got like Christmas coming up. Everybody takes their time off, whatever. Yeah, we had people in the venue working 12, 14-hour days, carpenters, putting together things, sound guys, trying to test around them. And then at the same time in the back, you had you, me, Scott and Kent trying to book like 4 to 6 weeks worth of shows to kick off this whole new venue for an entire, basically at the time, city of people who might want to watch alternative music. And the day everything became nothing, or our headline on our opening night. I think we put all our bands that we were playing on at the time. Like we had 10 bands.
Was that the big show with Defamer and? Yeah,
the Day Everything Became Nothing was the headline. And I honestly can't remember. But the main things I remember is like being someone who's organising it all behind the scenes was we had 880 payers in Brisbane for all Australian lineup. Opening night. And I remember the venue owner.
I'm just like thinking, how the fuck did we even fit 880 people in there? Surely not.
No, because there was 400 to 500 in the band room and like in the actual viewing room, and then you had like a DJ room, which I think was 150 to 200 cap, and then you had the green room, which we locked off for bands. Was another 80 to 100. So I think when you put it all together, you're allowed to have, I think it was like 600-700 people in the venue, but as
people coming and going. Yeah. So it wasn't as strict back then.
But then I remember the owner coming to the other night and saying that we drank about $23,000 worth of piss. And he was just like, that's stupid. How do your people do this and not fight? I'm like, well, it's a big love fest right now, brother.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then it went from Club Phoenix back to Rosie's for a bit, right?
Yeah, well.
That was just new management or something? I can't remember what happened with that.
So the story is, it's probably what's the thing, like when you pass a certain amount of time, you're probably allowed to talk about it.
Statute of limitations?
That's the one. I'm pretty sure that the rumour was the owner had taken big loans for some Russian gangs and had to go hide out for a long time because he hadn't paid back some shit. And that's when Michael, your mate Michael, was like in charge for a bit, and he was just like, fuck this black shirt shit. Like and he was a staunch Christian.
Yeah,
and really found it offensive, like our satanic ideals and I don't know all the things we get up to. And I'm gonna never forget him saying, "I'm sorry, we've got this new booking crew coming in, and they booked like all indie rock sort of stuff, like just what I would say is soft Triple J stuff, like real soft indie rock." And like they're going to book out the venue, they're going to bring huge acts. Sorry guys, the metal crew out, and their opening night had like 26 payers.
Yeah, I remember
26.
Some lady that was in charge of it that just didn't really give us much respect.
Or Carmel or something. C rhymes with.
And I think was it like you still hadn't got to have Monstrothic? Was it like there was still one
Monstrothic
night left?
came later.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we were allowed to keep some of our bigger nights.
Yep.
And one of the shows we had booked was the brismetal.com just metal fest thing where all the girls who were running that brismetal.com label for a while, they booked it all. They had Lord headlining, but they'd had like 6 weeks of this new indie rock club that had the biggest night had like 100 payers, and our comeback night was just whatever at 260 payers, but then they drank 12 grand with a piss. So, and then the owner came back out of exile, wherever the fuck he was. Like, I've never really knew. I mean, I'm probably way off, but that was the story at the time. And he came back and was like, "What the fuck have you done to my venue?" And he called me up at 2 a.m. one morning, maggot, like,
Please come
crying down the phone, like, "Please, could you, with the black shirts, like, would they forgive us? Like, if we bring them back?" I'm like, "Don't worry, mate. Like, they'll come back a bit jaded that you fucked them off, but they'll come back." And then at the same time, that's when they reached out to Destroy Alliance.
No, that was through me because I used to work.
That's right. Yeah, you got that.
I worked at a clothes shop with Trad, and he was like, "Hey, so this company from Melbourne that puts on these cool club nights and stuff wants to bring their club night to a new club night to Brisbane. Like, would you be able to give me the introduction to the venue?" And he's like, "If we can figure this out, I'll get you the job as my assistant." And so then I don't know, what would you'd even call it? I basically like
the hookup.
I gave him the hookup and sacrificed my own job for it. And then he never came through with that promise of getting me the job as his assistant. Someone else got that role, and then like 20 years later or whatever it was, I'm working at Destroy Alliance at full time. So funny how it worked out like that.
I mean,
but the club nights were sick. Like I was still making pretty good money on my door list, like Say Noise Theory at the door.
Yeah.
It was like I'd get a couple $100 and just like every week and just as many free drinks as I could fit in my stomach, and it was just insane.
I would never forget. Like, so for the people listening, so with the Thursday night would have like I don't know how you guys would classify. You had like more, like the Snitch was more, was that more punk? Or was just another version of the night?
Like it was just like, just an emo club night, I suppose you'd say, Thursday. But like, And
then the Friday would come, was my night. I called it Monstrothic, which is just made up name. And then Saturday was Thriller, which was, but I just never forget coming through like a club on a Thursday night and Snitch and just going, "Holy fuck, like, what is this?" And talking to, like, behind the scenes, like the way Destroy Alliance would, like, just hammer into the venue. We need fucking drink specials. Like, you can charge whatever you want for 80% of your stock, but we need 20%. Like these sick deals. Bring the people. They'll get maggot and rah. And I don't know. Like, I couldn't fathom the levels of following in your scene.
The levels of consumption.
Well, just the amount of people would come out for it. Like, I mean, put it down to metalhead favoritism, elitism, whatever. But like, I always knew my selling point to metalheads coming up from bands coming up from Melbourne was like, I'll guarantee you at least 100, mate, because we're going to get 100 people who just like nothing else to do this Friday. Yeah,
I guess it was pretty different scenes from like a dedicated like extreme metal underground kind of shows like you would do versus like could be sort of pop punk one week, hardcore one week, metalcore the other, and all that whole scene was like exploding at the time. In the early days of all the Bring Me the Horizon and Parkway Drive, all those bands that now dominate everything, and they're all coming up.
They're our biggest exports. Like, I mean, and I feel like I had nothing to do with any of those sort of scenes, but I feel nothing but pride watching them like tour across Europe as a headline band, this little band from Byron Bay, now doing documentary series.
Yeah, like Amity Affliction were filming video clips in Rosie's back in the day. And now they're on tour and like right now in fucking arenas with Parkway in Europe.
I just look back on all that as like it was born out of necessity. Like, we had nowhere to play, and like, as somebody who likes to have a creative outlet, that just felt like an affront to my senses. Like, no, like, there's all these fucking places. The normies can drink fucking on every corner, everywhere. Let's just can we have one space for the creative people to have a crack? Come on, And but like the way to sell it was to sell a money line to an owner, which is always my approach to these sort of things is venue first. Like, if you don't look after the venue, like, especially as a long-time booker or a promoter, like looking after a place, like, because if we don't have the venue, we've got nowhere.
So had you been promoting shows before? Like, you came to Brisbane, or
no? Like, I mean, I do my own little things in Melbourne before I moved up. Like, so I moved up when I was 21. Didn't know a soul up in Brisbane, but through brismetal.com, just you just know how you're gonna make friends and people in a new scene.
You just moved into state and kind of became king of Brisbane somehow.
Well, I always joke that I and actually, yeah, he's here today. Like, I remember once, like, core memory chat with Fuller, because I was a massive Blood Duster fanboy in early 2000, like talking 99, 2000. I'd come out and see every show. I remember talking to Fuller behind the scenes after a show and just asking his opinion on booking and playing shows. Like, why don't you play every weekend? Because I'm just a dumb fuck fan, didn't know anything about it. And he's just like, no, you got to pick your shows because you play all the time. People stop coming out, so you got to play big ones and rah. And you got to have everything set up. And like, he goes, we look like fuckwits, but trust me, like we think about what we're doing. And I just remember sort of taking that to Brisbane, and I, at the time, wasn't super stoked with how organisation went into it. And I don't like doing anything half-assed. You know me for a long time. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it properly. And they basically went into those shows looking at the way some people had done it before, and I cut my teeth on the Wednesday nights. I said earlier about the free shows, like 3 up-and-coming bands. You could sometimes have a big headliner who just wanted to try out some shit or whatever, but for the most part, it's bands who want to have their first, second, third, fourth show, show some friends, free show, coming on out and done by 10 o'clock, and I cut my teeth promoting that way, because it's like I'd see what some bands did, some bands didn't. I know how to ride them and how to talk to them in terms of, I'm very direct with my sort of communication style. And people would be like, what'd you think of the show? And I'm like, right, okay, you guys are awesome. Nobody fucking knows about, what's going on with that. And just say okay, like it's sort of like what are the compliment sandwich with, you give them a bit of shit in the middle or whatever. But just say to bands, like, you can be as sick as you are, but if nobody knows about it, what's the point? So you need to tell your friends, you need to promote more. I want to see back in the day, I want to see 2 posts on your MySpace. And then when Facebook comes in, I want to see, 2 a week, leading up to the show, and just ride them. But also, they don't know how to do it because they're just the bands. They're just going to make their music, and that's cool. I like to be sort of the guys, no, you worry about your fucking art. I'll just worry about making it work so that people are going to know about it, and we're always going to have somewhere to come back and do it.
And these days, you're not promoting anymore. You're just worrying about your art, so to speak.
So to speak. No, I mean, I full credit to our band boss, Mama Bear. We call her Dharma, in ISUA. Would sort of join them, and she, it's her band. She started writing the riffs. She has the vision of what she wants to do. And this is how we bonded. It was we just want to make metal, give us a bit of stank face. I just want, at least, if we can give you 2 or 3 stank faces through a 30-minute set, and we've done our job. Oh yeah, fucking riff. And but she's just an organisational beast. I've met few people in my life who I think can organise as well as I do. I'll just give myself full marks. Sorry, everybody, but I know what I'm good at, and she gets it all done, so I don't have to do it. You know what I mean?
So you just get to rock up and play.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, when I first moved back down to Melbourne, there's a old main bloke from High Tension,
Matt Weston.
Might have been him. Anyway, but a fella from he's like, Geeks, do you live down here now? I said, yeah. He goes, fuck, man, I know some places that need a booker. Do you want to get back into the games? It's just Melbourne doesn't need a dedicated night like I was doing. I just liked having the structure. And and then because at the time, I keep saying, there's nowhere else to go. And then other clubs did come back. I remember 299 coming up, and they're having shows in the Step In with Kent and stuff like that. And then eventually we had 2 or 3 places we could go play. I can't stress that enough. We had nowhere else to go. But so I've got no interest. No, that's a long way of saying no. I could do it, but I also, the amount of time and effort that I had to put into listening to bands I don't want to listen to, definitely turns me off that. People like yourself and Mikey Nolan, singer of ISUA, just people who just have such wide knowledge and appreciation of so much music. It staggers me because I know what I like, and it's very fucking narrow.
Yep.
I respect and appreciate everything, but what I want to listen to is not much. And so the idea of subjecting myself, I'm sorry everyone, but the idea of subjecting myself to all your bands again is fucking hell on earth to me.
Right.
As age 42, and let's clarify this. I spent 10 years doing this and put on over 300 shows. And I listened to every fucking demo someone sent me. Because I give them feedback. I'm like, hey, you might have some good songs in there, but I can't fucking hear it. Spend some money on recording, boys. Come back to me. And they'd be like, cheers, bro. And they come back 6 months later with a decent demo. All right, well, I can help you push this. Let's go.
Yep.
So, yeah. No, long way of saying fucking no interest in booking and promoting anymore. But I don't think I'm needed.
Yeah.
It's like Necrosonic bringing back a promoter. No one needs it.
Yep. It's I'm glad Kent's back in it with Necrosonic. It's like
What a great concept.
everyone from those early Rosie's days were all still involved, I think, except for Scott.
Yeah. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, I mean, what
I
a
think
concept.
he's just busy being a dad and doing his, was it jiu-jitsu he did?
Yeah, I think
Something
so.
like that.
Yeah. I remember, look, maybe I fell in the same thing, but I remember him saying to me because he helped us book for a while, and then after about a year of it, he said, fuck this. Like, he just didn't want to do it anymore because he'd already been a booker and a promoter for a long time.
Yep.
And I remember him saying, this is starting to make me hate metal because I have to listen to so much and do it. And I remember going, oh, I get that. I get it. And I don't want to be like that. I mean, yeah, I know.
I never got to the point of hating it, but with like the radio, it definitely became a chore just having to listen to
fuck you.
bands that I fucking didn't actually care about necessarily or like personally enjoy. I wouldn't say not care about, but like I think I have a wider array of music that I enjoy than you do. But, But yeah, in terms of just like having to represent everything, definitely gets tiring.
Oh, look, I mean, I've known you since, your balls are basically dropped almost. Like, I mean, I know your voice. Like, I won't mention band names, but I heard you on Triple J talking. He doesn't give a fuck about this band. He's trying. he's doing a good job. Like, yeah. But I mean, at the same time, like, look, I had four nights every month filled. Like every Friday, I have to have a show, and like I prefer anything low end. Like I prefer sludge metal, like doom, death. Always love my death. Anything as soon as there's a bit of too much treble in it, I'm fucking out. It's just my ears don't like it. But
yeah, I've noticed you've been less into black metal in the more recent years.
I've never liked black metal.
I kind of thought you did, but
I like black metal that has a fair bit of death in it.
Right.
Like your Astrial. Like to me, that was like death metal sounding band that did black metal. Like I don't know. That's just the way I listen to it. So I always really appreciate it. But no, I've never enjoyed black metal at all.
I guess it was more Jimmy that covered that side of things when you were doing.
He's the grim one. I was a silly
Obsidian.
one. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I remember we released like Neath and Dead Letter Opener, who were like these prog metal bands, absolutely incredible. But I definitely remember some like full arms cross grimos, black and death metal guys going, "What the fuck are you doing to this shit?"
Yeah,
and we're just like, no. The ethos of Obsidian Records was we wanted to make Australian metalheads understand how good Australian metal was, because at the time when we were starting it, everyone's top 5 bands had 3 Roadrunner bands in it. Like this is going way back, but like Roadrunner were just everywhere with the sickest bands. Like don't get me wrong, like, they were great, but our whole idea was like, cunt, you can go down the free night on Wednesday and hear a band that kind of sounds like Sepultura any night of the week, like, and do it pretty fucking well. They're not as good as Sepultura maybe or whatever, but watch them enough time, they will get there or whatever. So that was all. This is what it is.
Yeah. So what has got ISUA got happening in the pipeline after Blacken? Is there?
This is a quick
plans?
Quick conversation, but so Dan, who played with us yesterday, this is his last show. So anybody out there listening, if you play bass and you live in Melbourne, ISUA are looking. So we right now are going to get back from this, have a week off, and then we're going to be learning an Electric Wizard cover set because we're doing a Halloween show where I think it's the Bendigo are going to start doing it every year. I think they ask a local band to do a set. And last year they had Gutless, I think, doing Misfits or something.
Yep.
Fucking sick. So, yeah, like we just had like Dharma and Dom are massive Electric Wizard fans, and they were just like, would you guys mind, putting the time into this? So we're going to do that. And then we're going to take the rest of the year off.
So you got a fill-in basis for that?
Yeah, Matty's still on. He helped us out in between other bass player spots.
He helped us out with this podcast and giving me all these microphones and stuff. Yeah.
Shout out to Audio Technica. I hope I'm getting that right.
Yeah, that's the one.
Unsponsored, but go buy some stuff. He's going to fill in for that because he's an absolute electric wizard. Just Stan. He won't mind me saying that. But then after that, we are, and here's the other thing for any of you who might want to put your hand up for the position, like you won't have to come in and learn the songs in a big hurry for a show, because the idea of the remaining members of ISUA are to re-teach somebody for the third time in 8 months is soul destroying to us because we want to write. Like we
So just be coming back with a fresh set of songs and a new member.
Like whoever joins can bring as many spliffs and beers as they want because we're just gonna be hanging out with electronic drum kit, like quiet jams, which is something I hated back in the day that fuck me I love now. Being able to talk to your bandmates whilst playing music is fucking sick. It's not as metal, it's not as brutal, and you definitely need to have like live jam studio rooms, but like I am such a convert with decent kits these days. They're pretty cheap. It's fantastic. So whoever comes and joins will just come to a room with us and just smoke, drink, and we're just going to like play riffs because that's what we fucking love. Like I always joke that I'm actually a guitarist who hates playing guitar because I love riffs. Fuck, I hate playing guitar. It's so lame. It's so whittly and small, whatever.
So how long have you been playing drums for now?
Oh, 42. But this is actually embarrassing because like how bad I am as a drummer. I'm 42 now and I started playing, I was like 12. So yeah, there you go. This is the 30-year anniversary of me playing drums in bands. But I've never had lessons. It's like I've never learned how to read music. I don't even, this is really embarrassing, everybody. I don't even keep count as I'm playing. I hum the riff in my head. Like that's the way I play because I feel like because I'm not, if somebody walks away from an issue of a gig going, fuck, that drummer was sick. Either you don't know drummers or you're focusing on the wrong thing. Like where it's about the fucking riff, you know. Like, I just want to stank face, like I said. So I just want to hit those root notes. I want to lock in with the bass player and let Dom and Dharma just fucking shine. Like so 30 years is a long answer to that question, and I fucking still love just hitting drums.
Yeah, you seem a lot more comfortable just playing stoner doom sludge than you ever did back in the day playing like brutal chaotic death metal like you did with Defamer that band was what, like 5 or 6 years of your life?
Oh, look, it's longer than that because I mean Sam and I lived together for 10 years and we were in Defamer before that, so it's like 10, 11 years. Like, and yeah, like I whenever I listen back to the Defamer stuff, like and I listen to the drumming, I'm just like, that cunt is like a hair's breadth for being out of control. Like he doesn't know. He's just trying to go fast as he can. And like, you know, and I always enjoy like more the slow down metal parts, you know, that. And like, you know, Sam keeps writing stuff. So you never know. Like Defamer might come back, but it's going to be like way more like just single kick fucking DB. I don't know. Like it'd be way more, I think, just slow, but aggressive. You know? I don't know. Yeah. But like, yeah, somebody told me when they heard from one of my Brisbane mates, I can't remember who, apologies if you listen, but I remember someone saying to me, this sounds like the most Geeks band ever. Just like low, slow and heavy, bit of stank face. I do a little bit of double kick. I mean, that was my bad, fucking admitting to the ISUA gang when I first joined 5 or 6 years ago that I played death metal. Like, oh, can you do double kick? It's like, yes, I can do fucking double kick. Oh, just put it in when you want. And now it's like literally every song they're like, oh, what do you reckon a bit of double kick on that biff? I'm like, no.
Those are my favourite ISUA parts when the double kick really comes in. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll appreciate the ethos on this is that like, I basically try and keep it to one every 3 songs that we write. Like
you don't want to overuse it.
No, absolutely. I wanted to make it like a fucking like a sit up bit, you know, like they're doing a bit. And then also when you go faster and you come back into the slow bit, it's all by design, you know, and that's the bit that really hits, you know. So yeah, no, it's just another tool in the shed kind of thing, you know. But also at the same time with 30 years of playing drums, I've got 25 years of playing pretty high level competitive basketball. So like my knees, my hips, everything.
Yeah, I remember even back in the day you used to have shoulder problems from Defamer.
Yeah, just well, that's also I played drums like an absolute moron. It's like all arms and not conservative and efficient. But like, yeah, I play drums like I fucking hate them. Like they're gonna get hit. Like, yeah, I feel bad. I often apologise to people who provide the kit on the night when you got backline. I'm like, man, I'm sorry, I'm gonna smack these cunts. Like, yeah, but it's part of the show too. You know, I'm not going to move around a lot, so I want to give you, if your eyes do happen to wander up there, at least he's looking like he's having a good time. I might be angry in the face, but trust me, I'm having a good time. Yeah.
I was trying to remember, I can't remember what, I filled in for Defamer once on vocals.
Yeah, a couple of times, yeah.
Toowoomba, was it?
Yeah, but also that weird show at the arena. There's that, like it was like a Brute Fest or a Brutal Fest, and there was like up in the side room, I think you were sick on the night. You had to fill in with short notice, brother. Trust me on this.
I cannot remember.
Yeah, no. Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about before. The amount of shit that we've done.
You've got so much fucking blur to all those years.
Yeah, I think you did fill in a tour somewhere though.
Yeah, I think we went to Toowoomba. I remember we left Dylan at a service station or something.
Oh, Dylan. I remember on that tour, he, God bless him. Like he was always in like bands that like we loved him as a dude, but like he was always into music that we as the famous dudes weren't into. Like at the time was metalcore. Like he just loved metalcore, and we're just like, nah, lame man. If it ain't brutal, fucking smashing, we're not into it. I remember he kept insisting on that tour, I need to show you like the demo of my band. And we're like, man, we know what you sound like. Like we're all in the same scene. Like we know you're a good band in that genre. We just don't want to hear it. I remember he just punished us. Like, I have to show everybody. We all sat in the bus, not fans of the genre, for like 5, 6 tracks of band we don't know or songs we don't know, and he just didn't get that. Like, it's like, man, why are you going to show us this? So we left him at a service station.
Yeah. It's funny. My personal YouTube account, which has like 4 or 5 videos uploaded onto it. The first ever upload is like leaving Dylan at the service station. It's just like recorded on like a 10 pixel fucking real shitty fucking early smartphone video.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about it now? I mean, I've seen memes on the internet and like, they're not wrong, but like being in it, like I saw this like funny thing is like, when a band member realizes that being in a band means now you're a content creator, like, cause the only way to get out there is like you're meant to make funny videos or whatever. Like, how do you sort of like see it? It's cause it's just,
I don't know, like
cause we're old.
I drop the ball. Like I drop the ball occasionally, I think, on Run's social media. So I don't want to hand that responsibility off to anyone else. I'm too precious about it. But it's a bit punishing trying to stay on top of it and think of
what do you do? What do you do? You know what I mean?
I'm just like, I'll post the gig flyer with a couple of live shots, and that's about as much thought as I'll really put into it. I've I think Run's like I had a TikTok account for a while and I turned into like one for Run, and on tour once we tried to do a couple of just like funny videos and just make some more creative content or whatever, but I'm not really thinking about that shit at all.
And I think it's a different type of people to do it, because I mean I'm in a second band, Giant, shout out to the boys, like and like they play like a bluesy stonery metal, which kind of sounds jammy, but it's all very just hard rocking, and they're all 10 years, 12 years, 15 years younger than me. And I remember joining them thinking, these guys will be a little bit more on this kind of shit. They've got no interest in that either. So I'm like, I don't think it's an old and a new, like an old and a young thing. I just think it's some people want to do that sort of content and other people won't, Fuck, man, I actually gonna need a break. I got sun cream going in my fucking
I was
eyes.
wondering
That's
why you look
bleeding.
like you were crying.
Nah, it's a fucking sun cream. I can't fucking see. I was gonna.
All right, yeah, we'll cut it.
Well, we're talking about content creation.
Yeah,
and young people. I don't know. I mean, like it sometimes would be like lying in bed or having a shower or something. I think, that'd be a funny little joke to make or a video or something like that. And then I wake up the next day or I'm thinking about it later on. I'm too embarrassed to even bring it up to my bandmates. I'm just like, no, you wanker. That's not the way we do it. But at the same time, I'm like, I remember I have this joke with a few extreme metal friends of mine. And I'm like, are you starting a TikTok yet? You got a TikTok going? You need a TikTok if you want to be seen, mate. Like, if you're going to be serious about your fucking band, you need to have a TikTok. And they're just like, get fucked. What do you mean? I'm not putting that shit. But seriously, if you want to be seen, like, you got to jump on everything. Like, I don't. It's like the weird push pull of like, I don't want to be famous, and I don't want to look like I'm trying to be famous. But at the same time, I want as many people as possible to hear my shit.
Yep.
It kind of doesn't work without the other one or the other. But at the same time, I get it, because I don't want to fucking do any of that stuff. I just want to put my music out there, and if someone likes it, whatever.
Yeah, I only use TikTok. Like, I don't think I've really posted on the band one for months. I just use it for the reels, the highlight reels I make for this. And just have like one for the podcast. But yeah, people are always like, you should do stuff with like your goats and your chickens. You could get massive on TikTok. I'm like, I cannot be fucked.
Yeah, well, you got to manage it. I mean, that's the thing with in respect to like content creators who do it. Like, it's not that easy. Like, I mean, obviously we see the finished product of 15 seconds of shit, But there might have been a whole day of shooting to get that 15 seconds. And
Yeah.
then and then it might not take off in the algorithms. You probably got to do it again or promote it again. Oh my God, it just makes me.
Yeah, I'll
tired.
spend a lot of time like thinking about which clips I want to highlight for the podcast or whatever, and I'll spend hours editing them and getting the captions and everything. And sometimes I'll think this one's not that good, is it? And it'll like take off, and then I'll think one is fucking, one of my reels is great, and it just like Instagram will be telling me this reel is not performing as well as the other ones, as your typical reels or whatever. Like, I feel bad, man.
Did you think this was funny? Did you think this was funny? Yeah. The algorithm hates us all. Yeah, you see people. It's the same as like writing a song. Like, you write an album, you put out the album, you're like, this is the single we're going to give people, and then you find out. 2 years after the fact, people are like, nah, it's actually song 3 on the album that was the banger. And you're like, really? Fucking never. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, I don't know, what you find funny, what you find interesting. It's just, who could pick it?
So speaking of new songs and stuff, like, does ISUA have a couple of tracks in the can that were supposed to be out by now? Or
Fuck. All right, I'll make the sign now. Because we might have to cut this. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble with the boss. But like, yeah, we do have 2 tracks that we just recorded recently. Written, that's
like a year ago?
Yeah. We recorded a while ago now. And it's like one of those things we're just like, we haven't released much since the album. So we had a couple in the pipeline. And then I think also we're having member changeovers, so we're like, well, fuck, we're not gonna get back on the writing train for a while, so we might as well just bang these out in the studio, put something out, so there's more stuff out there. And so yeah, no, we've got two tracks coming out, and then but then like I was saying earlier, yeah, it's just into the writing hole, and which I can't wait for, because that's some of my favorite parts of being in a band. It's just that, especially now with the electronic kits, like we just sit around and laugh and play. Yeah, that's cool. Do that for 2 more times. All right, I'll put double kick here, but then you don't get it for 3 songs. You fucks, And it's just real. Like, that's the best fun of it. And I've talked about this with a few people. Like, it doesn't happen often, but there are times when you're writing where you, as a band, have been working on a section, like, or a riff or a changeover or something, and you fucking nail it and you stop, and everybody just bursts into laughter. Like, sometimes that it doesn't happen very often, but like, those are the sort of moments I really sort of like cherish. I think it's like these 4-5 idiots coming together and slamming something out, and then you just out of nowhere it works, and you're like, that's fucking sick, and people are gonna like that or whatever. Like, that's the stuff I think I look forward to the most.
Every now and then I fantasize about picking drums back up again and doing another band just to kind of have those experiences again, because
as a vocalist, yeah, you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, and even still, just like Run has always been fairly kind of studio oriented and kind of more clinical in that regard. Like,
yeah,
I can't not a single Run song has been written in the jam room. Like, there's definitely
doesn't have that natural.
There's definitely been some kind of, on the second EP, when it kind of accidentally became like a full band, there's definitely a couple of moments that got added or modified or improved or whatever by playing things out. But yeah, I definitely miss those moments. Yeah, sometimes.
I mean, do you really? And then you go, fuck, I have to bring a kit.
Yeah, but like, it is also nice being able to just go, hey, here's a song, and we're going to record it and figure it out. And we don't have to spend
6 weeks.
6 weeks being democratic about it in a room with 5 people trying to
worry about these egos,
argue about it or whatever.
Because you got creative egos, or like that's a thing you got to like consider while you're doing this stuff. Like, especially people you care about, like, I mean, over the evolution of how I've told guitarists that riff sucks, like, has changed over the years. Like, it goes from, oh, yeah, I can sort of see what you're trying to do there. Oh, like, but like, where does it fucking start and where does it end? Like, I can't see the points, Like, can you do it to me now? Like, I'm way more straight up with that. Like, nah, you can do better than that. Like, or can you stretch it out? Could you work, like, I don't know. Or can you explain to me what you expect me to do over that? Because I need to make this sort of, that's the way I sort of look at a lot of riffs, guitarists, when they get excited. Is like, I've got to make this, like, digestible for the people out there in terms of, like, where do I nod my head? Like, and get some guitarists like, stop, okay, but how do I put that in? Is this Do you want me to do a 6/8 or a 7/15? So I don't know. I can't read fucking music. Like, well, how do I make this work for everybody else? Because if I can't understand it, fuck, they've got no chance.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I mean, in the ISUA, like that doesn't really happen at all because it's all like it's low and it's slow, and I understand very simply where I have to fucking douche, da-da, like douche, da-da, like whatever it might be. Like it's very obvious where that accent point is because, like I said earlier, I don't want somebody to walk away from an ISUA gig going, that fucking drummer was sick. No, I want to be steady as fuck and just keep it like locked in and service the riff. That's what I keep saying to the guy.
Happy to hide in the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, like there is a few parts like they want me to do big fills and like go crazy and write a sick drum bit here that everybody goes wow, but like I just don't want to do it. There's no interest in it. I just want another cool riff, please, because drum solos are cool and all, but I'd rather watch like someone who's actually fucking trained and knows how to read and write and can do that, like a Dave Haley or whatever, like. No, like I'm just gonna do what feels good in the moment. Like when they say to me, "Oh, do a big drum fill bit here," I'm like, "Yes," but I'm not gonna write anything. I'm just gonna do something on the recording, and if that I get close to it live, so be it. If I don't, where the riff comes back in. Don't worry about it. So I don't know. But yeah, that's the evolution of writing. Like I think over the years, there's more to direct, but like worrying about the ego, like is like to bring it back. We're talking about like writing in the room together compared to your method of like, all right, here's a song, learn your bit. Like, I can see the advantage, but I think I enjoy the democratic process. It's just fun.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's part of the point.
I used to really enjoy that process too, but I just got sick of putting in years of my life into bands that just would suddenly have to stop because one person decided that they'd had enough or wanted to do something else with their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, like we went through that a bit. I mean, one of the members, when Dan sort of said, "Look, guys, this is going to be my last bit." Yeah. And one of the members of ISUA just sort of said, "Hey, look, if like with the four of us were in the room, like if this is the moment where somebody else has been a bit, for fuck's sake, and doesn't want to do this, now's the time to speak up."
Yep.
And we all sort of looked at each other like
getting a new bass player is the easiest one to get. So
I mean, throw a rock and you can hit a guitarist who can play bass. So we'll find someone. And we've had, I mean, actually after announcing it on stage, we've had at least 3 people reach out at the show since this time yesterday. So in 24 hours, we've had 3 people say, I could do it. One of the blokes lives in Blue Mountains and I was like, we practice weekly. That's the thing for us. Like every week we jam and just try to play the set or whatever, like just do something.
Yeah, ISUA was a little wholesome little family.
It really is. Yeah.
I remember being so stoked when Mikey told me that you were joining the band. I'm pretty sure it was him that told me. Oh, you told me?
Probably, yeah. Do you know this guy, Mikey Nolan? It's like everyone knows Mikey Nolan.
I was just like, yeah, one of my best mates from Brisbane joining forces with one of my best mates from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. You gave me a compliment through somebody else. Like it came back to me. Like I haven't said this to you before. Actually, I think it was Mike Deslanders. Actually, I think you were talking with him, and he was our engineer for a couple of ISUA things. And, and he was talking about it's like I've been dealing with geeks, and it's like everything's just like bang bang bang. We're going to do this. Blah, blah, blah. And remember you said and he repeated this. Or you said to him, you're like, yeah, I can't imagine the band with geeks being unorganised. I was like, yeah, no, I don't stand for that shit. I was talking to a guy here, he remember What Went Wrong? Brisbane metal band.
I think that might be, that's definitely when we were talking before about like how you run into all these people at these festivals that you're like, I remember your face, but I can't remember anything else.
You remember Brent?
And yeah. And he was like, we used to play shows together, my old band What Went Wrong. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't remember that now.
As soon as he said, he goes, oh, yeah, he's the same thing me. I was Brent, I was in What Went Wrong. It's like, and then like you just add 10, 15 years of age to his face. And you're like, fuck. And then I straight away said, Brisbane sewer metal. Because that was their tagline. Like, they were just Brisbane shit metal. Like, fucking love it. Like, I remember, and he was talking, he's medically discharged from the army. He's done some hardcore shit. And he's just like, I'm sort of thinking about maybe doing stuff again and rah, rah, rah. And then, and Ken has been talking to me about Necrosonic, bring back What Went Wrong for a couple of shows. I'm like, again, Ken, what a fucking concept, Necrosonic, bringing back bands, like, even if only 100 people remember it, like, it's a great concept. And he straight up said, like, we're talking about, he's like, I have to fucking chase these 3 adults to do this thing with me. Like, I'm not going to fucking do it. Like, I'm too old now. like if you don't want to be involved, like then like just don't say yes. Like don't join, but that's like you said, back to the wholesome family of ISUA. Like we just, if we don't have anything we have to particularly get ready for a show or something, we don't feel like practicing, we go out for dinner. You know, like it's just hang out with each other, like talk shit about the week or whatever, and maybe have like an informal band meeting about what's coming up over the next few months or whatever. But yeah, it's a little family away from family, and then we're lucky to have it because, you know, you and I are old dogs with a million different bands and a million different cunts that didn't work and didn't work with whatever. And
yeah, I went through so many of those experiences, like while we were living together. And even before we were living together, I used to like crash on your couch like every weekend.
That's how the Blood Duster guys met you?
Yeah. Matt from Blood Duster at the festival earlier was like, "Yeah, I've known you since you were like a little kid sleeping on Geeks' couch." And I'd completely kind of forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Meeting him there. But yeah, there's
well, I mean,
like Dave Haley, met him through when I think it was the first house we were living together in, the one that flooded.
Yeah.
And Psychroptic came to stay, and yeah, that's when I first met
Dave.
Met the Psychroptic guys, and who else would I have met? There's so many people. I remember a house party once. It's one of my favorite stories to tell people whenever anyone talks about Portal. And it was that Albion house, I think.
Yeah.
And the one that didn't flood.
Yeah.
But we like you and Sam sorted out a house party one night, and there was just this kind of odd, kind of but normalish looking guy with a strange energy who came up and was like, "Hey, Lachlan, I'm Shane. Like, lovely to meet you," kind of thing, like shaking hands and just had just an odd energy about him. And then he walked off, and you came up to him and went, "That's the curator."
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit.
This is mind blowing. Yeah, I love it. I love I had my Portal long sleeve on Friday night, and I had a lot of people go, "Did you see him recently?" And I actually missed the show, and and I'm like, but I know him. I saw him back in Brisbane, back in the Globe Theatre, and all these crazy stuff. And full credit to them. I just think they've done one of the most amazing things ever. And the genre has been overtaken by weird goth fucking stuff I don't understand. But like they created a genre in my eyes, horror metal. Like because that's what they called themselves from the start, and that's what Sepia was to me. Like that, it's meant to feel uncomfortable, like a horror movie. Like it doesn't make sense, but it sort of does.
Yeah, I think Ian said to me once that Portal's not a band to be enjoyed, but to be experienced.
Yeah.
Because I remember you like. Obsidian put out one of their records or something, or you
second one I think.
Yeah,
on vinyl. Yeah, that was like an instant sold out kind of thing. And talk about like a band who knew their fucking knew that they had something. Like back then, like they were like, do 500 if you want, but it's gonna sell out like quick. And we're like, oh, okay, like yeah. And like the pre-orders came from all over the world, and like because they was one of one. I've heard other bands try and do Portal. Nah, it's a one of one band. Like. Incredible stuff. Like they're talking about like meeting metalheads and different people. I probably won't give the band and the person. I'll remind you off air. But like one of the funniest stories, like, and you might have to cut all this. I don't know. But I remember. So like every weekend I would have a band from interstate stay at my place, and I remember we had a really grim band coming up from Melbourne, like Black Death, and this guy calls me up and he goes, "Look, you know, I really appreciate you going to put us up." Like, you know, in your house. Because I'd offer that to every band I'd bring up. You know, we got mattresses on the floor. Like, it's not going to be the Ritz, but, you know, ain't going to cost you. And he's like, look, appreciate that. But as you can appreciate, we've been around a while. And we've been to some fucking cracked ends, right? So I need to ask you some questions about people who, you know, live with you. I was like, right. And he goes, first of all, are any of you fucking drug addicts? Like, nasty drug addicts. I was like, oh, well, we love our piss and our nicotine, and a couple of us smoke a bit of green, but there's no hard shit here, if that's what you mean. He's like, good. So no junkie, heroin junkie. He's like, no, your shit's safe. He's like, right. Now, look, I don't mind like how gay the world's getting, but do you have any people who are, like, do you live with any puss? And I go, mate, I live with Locke or what? He's not a poof, but like, you know, he won't say no to anything he likes. And he goes, oh, yeah, I guess I can handle that. I said, you have to name and shame. But the end of the story is that like we had an after party after show with people like like, there's probably about 40, 50 people on a Friday night at like 2 a.m. at our place. And that guy was sitting on the couch with you smoking bongs, like just loving drugs, loving talking about like everything, big world. And he still to this day, like, good mates who see each other. But just like, this is how serious these people would take it, and the different like sort of worlds it would meet, like noise theory and Bris metal. Like I always think like that's you and I, like 100%. And like I remember Sam and I'd be so excited. Like, this is my housemate Sam. Shout out to my defamer bro. But like, we'd be so excited when a taxi full of noise theory cunts would show up to one of our parties, because it's just a different vibe. We used to always make fun of it. Was like the South Park rabble thing. It's like some will come in and just fuck shit up for like an hour, 2 hours, and then splish splash. I was raping my dad. Fucking just back out.
Daryl
again.
Beveridge would come in and fucking start a fight with some grimo over something ridiculous.
Absolutely on purpose. Like just R.I.P. Daryl just like trolling metalheads in my house, like like just the mishmash of people. Like that's just what makes all what we're doing beautiful. It really does.
Yeah, there was some really insane times. I remember meeting Whitechapel. All of us waking up one morning and like Whitechapel were in the living room.
Why were they there?
Because it was like their first Australian tour, I think, and they couldn't check into their hotel till 2 o'clock or something. And
Who's put them up?
Brad from Soundworks was like, "Oi, geeks, can we come like sit in your living room for a few hours?"
Fuck, I do not remember that at all. See, that's just no idea. Yeah, because I remember that was that.
I remember
show.
having a big conversation with Phil Bozeman about how fucking sick Iron Dissonance was before I fucking smoked a bong and left for my call center job that day.
And look at me now. Yeah, no, it's been fun. What's good about booking and promoting now is when I do get to meet some pretty famous people, like from already doing all the booking and promoting. It's just like they shit just like any of us, and just be able to hang out with different. I mean, the most famous person I probably drank piss with was like Motley Crue, Tommy Lee, when he did the Crowbar, he did like a Crowbar set there because he was doing like DJ stuff for a while. And like people who have been that famous, I've found to be the most cool. And it's the people who want to be famous that aren't. Like,
They're the biggest fuckheads.
Biggest problematic people, who like might have had some level of virality where they've gone big for a bit or something, and then like it just never caught on or whatever. And they're problematic. Like they're the problematic famous people. But like truly famous people are the fucking sickest cunts. And I love the Melbourne metal scene. And it extends everywhere. Sorry, it should be the Australian metal scene. Like there's not a lot of main character syndrome. Like when you're backstage, backstage at the Blacken here, like they wander in and out, and you can have cunts from huge bands from all around the world sitting there, and everybody just gets it. Just a bunch of nerds doing shit we love. I don't remember how I got onto that. But anyway.
Yeah, we're just kind of rambling at this point, but was there any bands that really stuck out for you at the festival yesterday? Or the first couple of days?
First band that grabbed me by the nuts was seeing Snake Mountain from Gold Coast with Nev Pearce, a fellow podcaster.
Yeah, that was my first time catching them live. It was pretty impressive.
It was incredible. Yeah, no, it's funny. I was talking with my partner Geraldine. I was saying Snake Mountain because she loves her bluesy rock sort of stuff, and I said Snake Mountain. That sounds like it's going to be a bit bluesy and rocky, and then it turns out like it was a band for me. Like fucking slap you in the face death metal. That was fantastic. I really so they also had Snake in their name, Battle Snake.
Yeah.
What a trip. Where are they from?
Sydney, I think.
Jesus Christ. Are they a bunch of like music nerd kids that just...
I'm not actually sure of their story, but I don't know. I don't think they've come from like any sort of traditional metal scene. I kind of think that they might be like kind of King Gizzard sort of style, just indie adjacent kind of musos who went, hey, let's do a silly kind of Dungeons and Dragons sort of style.
But when you do
classic metal band,
when you do it that well, it doesn't matter what you fucking do. What a show that was! Absolutely incredible.
Very impressive.
So those two really,
actually, I got to say this. It was funny as fuck. Fuller was sitting backstage last night, really not enjoying Battlesnake, and he's like, it's all silly, but like, what's the punchline? Like, what's the joke? Like, he's like,
because he writes his punchlines.
He's like, metal's funny enough.
It's all right, Fuller. Shout out to Fuller. Like, his old manisms, like I am so in line with, especially these days. But he's been them since he was 20. But like, what's the joke? Metal is a joke. It really is. I mean, it's one of the last places. But it's one of the last places. I honestly look at it this way these days. Like, it's one of the last that aggression is like not toxic. If that makes sense. Like, everybody's got aggressive, harsh feelings in themselves, and it's one of the last places we can fucking actually show it. You know, it's in a healthy way. Like, the boxing gym's another one, I guess, smashing pads and then eventually smashing each other. A bit more full frontal than our stuff, but like, it's one of the last places I feel like you can show aggression. And aggression feels good.
Yeah.
It is fucking good. Like, it's cathartic, having a big yell. Like, just, I don't know. So it's one of the last places we can do it. And, you know, the more pent up we get, like, that's when I get more worried about people. They get more pent up they get. So
you're excited to see Blood Duster ruin their legacy tonight?
I literally was joking with Emlo and Belty backstage. I'm just like, full credit to them. PC said it from the get-go. Like, when we quit, like, every time someone asks me to play, I'm just going to ask for 10 grand more. And eventually, like, someone will say yes. And I'm glad that they've eventually said yes. So good on your pirate for paying them whatever you're paying them. Yeah, I was watching the online. I'm looking right at you, see Blood Dust. I was watching the fucking Obscene Extreme, like, because I wanted to see how the old boys did it. Because, I mean, talk about core memories for me, 99, 2000, getting in a car with a bunch of mates, driving all the way from Macedon down to Melbourne, making one poor cunt designated driver so we could go see Blood Duster again. You know, just seeing, like, just unbelievable. And I didn't choke up while I was doing it, but I literally was saying to the boys, like, I know it's cheesy and I'm just the cunt, like, you know, I'm just one of those cunts, but thank you for all the good memories and the good times and so many core memories. Like, but also, like, you know, they forged their own way, they did it their way, and I, again, for me, a bit of a one-on-one. I mean, there's a lot of, like, silly grind bands out there, but putting that fucking, like the porno rock, hard rock version on it, like, I think one-on-one, and I think they did it better than anybody. So,
sure.
Yeah, as you say, can't wait for you to fuck it up tomorrow or tonight, boys. You know,
I showed Rach their music for the first time last night.
Porn store stiffy and
yeah,
shit.
it was just like, that was just like the top result on YouTube. So I showed her that video clip and she was like, but this is like, they're so nice and funny, and this is so like angry and evil, and doesn't seem like that at all.
That's nice, but
like,
to me, that's nice and funny.
Yeah.
Like, he's playing drums and roller skates. Come on.
I don't think I could even see that on how low the resolution of the video was because it's from so long ago.
But every time it cuts back to the drummer, he's got different things on his feet.
I didn't even notice that.
I would, drummer.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, I'm pretty sure Fuller writes a lot of the lyrics, and you can see it when you know Fuller. Like, it's dry as fuck, which is what I love. I love dry humor. It's dry as fuck. It's on the nose. I mean, the cunts called their album Cunt back in whatever fucking year that was, because they knew they'd get in trouble for it.
Because I remember going to Big Day Out when I was like 15 or 16 or something, and seeing Blood Duster and just like seeing a shirt at the Big Day Out merch tent that just said cunt, and was just like,
how could you do that? I like, shout out to your nana, you're an absolute angel. I'll never forget how bad I felt when I found out that my nana, like at the time, a 76-year-old nana, ironed my cunt shirt for me and then left it on top of the pile of all the clothes she did for me.
Just so you knew that you would upset her.
Thanks for that, boys. I never forget feeling so bad for that. I used to hide it at the back of my fucking wardrobe because I knew mum would want to throw it out. Yeah, what a time. Anyway, saying cunt now is like mainstream.
Yeah, it's whatever. Even Americans are starting to say it.
Sellouts, yeah.
But speaking of Fuller, I told him roughly 5 p.m. we'd do a little pod with him. So
yeah, is he on his way?
It's 5:10, so I better go
find him.
See if that's going to happen.
Yeah, brilliant.
So thanks for jumping on, Geeks.
Thank
is there
you.
anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up?
Just that everything I sort of saw, like, in you is exactly what I still see today. Like, it's someone who's dedicated, confident in it, and wants to do it the right way, whatever you're doing. I mean, a lot of it's artistic, so, you know, whatever you want to do is whatever. But the main thing is, as a booker and a promoter, and people has to look after bands, like, you still do it the way you do it, which is look after them. Because a lot of people out there, like, you know, mates and not mates, like, don't do a great job, and it tarnishes our industry's name outside the country, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, so I'm also like thanking myself because I'll promote myself because I saw it in you back there. You're a young chap.
Thank you, Geeks. Yeah, we'd
Papa Geeks there. Wrap it
would
up.
not be sitting here right now if you hadn't helped with so much of the path that I walk.
Yeah, no, I remember like a great. Your questions always like made sense. Like you always had questions that like made you sit back and go like, it's like, all right, I've got this band and wants to do this and like this. On one hand, I'm like, fuck you, but at the same time, like sort of. So how? Like I'm thinking about dealing like this, which is always what I like about it too. Like you bring a solution to your own problem, but then want to know, like and usually you're right, but yeah, it's always what a great student to have.
Thanks, Geeks.
All right, mate, boys.
Lots of love.
Thanks for listening to Music Is My Life. This podcast is self-produced by me, Lachlan Watt. I'd like to thank Audio-Technica Australia for providing the high-quality equipment that has made this possible, as well as Patrick Galvin at Hollowbone Studio for the design. The killer theme music that you are currently hearing was written by the legends TJ Cowgill and Sam Saljuki. Catch you in the next episode.